Hey, it's Frank from 40 Honeybee, and this one's a big one for me. I'm heading in to do a full inspection of both hives. It's the first post-bear attack inspection. So I'm gonna get into the bear attack hive first. There was just a cup full of bees in that hive, and I've been able to get that number of bees to survive and flourish. But I had much more in the way of resources than I do right now. I'll see how they're doing, I'll see what they're doing. Then I'll also get into the 86 off-road hive, which seems to be doing well. And that should tell me the story as to whether the hives that were attacked, or the bees that were attacked, made their way into that hive. And that hive should be doing well as far as numbers go, because if it did take on a lot of the first hive numbers, it's also had a bunch of brood that's hatched out right about now. So I'm hoping that that hive will tell me the story of whether I can take a few frames, a couple of frames, and give it to the bear attack hive to make them a new queen. I don't know if the bear attack hive has a queen or not, but that's what we got to find out. We got to find out if I try to save one hive and sacrifice a bit of the other, the strength of the other, or if I just stick to the one hive and carry on. I'm just a couple of days away from having all the components to be able to install the electric fence. So I'm kind of crossing my fingers here and hoping every time I pull up to this yard that I still have bees and that the bear hasn't made it back. So thanks for joining me. Hopefully it goes okay, and let's save some bees at 40 Honeybee. Okay, so first impressions on the bear attack hive are not good. There's no activity here whatsoever. The day after I put that cup of bees in, I opened up the hive and they were in the exact same position as I left them. Even the bees that were upside down were still upside down. They were alive, but they just were not moving. The next day was very cold. The day after was warm, and there was good activity at this hive, as much activity as there was over there. And this is probably more evidence that the bees have migrated over this hive. But in the time that I've been here, the few minutes, I have not seen a single bee go in or out of this hive. So let's have a look. Okay, so what do you think we're going to see in here? At first blush, at first look, it seems like not very much. Ants. Ants is what we see. And other critters. When we look in there, it's all ants. So yeah, this is a dead hive. No doubt about it. So it does make things simpler, unfortunately. We're down to one hive. Just going to take a quick look at some of the frames here, but yeah, we just pretty much have to clean this up. As a matter of fact, the action at the entrance kind of tells me that we probably need to remove that entrance restriction sooner than later. And what's happening is, so this is Friday, I'm planning to build the electric fence tomorrow, Saturday, and then move the bees early Sunday morning. So if I'm going to move that entrance, it'll probably be after that, because I'm only moving them, 50, 70 feet, but they will have to do a little bit of reorientation. Alright, so let's see how the feed is doing first of all. Let's see what they've taken here. Wow, everything. Everything is what they've taken. Lots of bees up in the feeder, but there is practically no feed, which is good. You see all the ants in there too. I'm not worried about that. They're making babies. But I'm not going to refill this feeder until we move the bees to their new location. Look for the queen. Looks like a lot of bees in there. Wow, holy smokes. Wow, when we left this hive last, it had 4 and was just starting to get to 5 frames of bees. Now look at it, my goodness. It has 10 frames of bees. So it definitely looks like both hives migrated together. which I guess is a good thing. It's better than the bees just dying. Just looking for the queen on the cover here. The inside lid. It also means this hive is probably pretty darn close to being ready for some more room. Look at that. Easily 1, 2, 8 frames worth of bees in there. Looking really good. All right, so let's get through the inspection. Let's see what they're doing. Wonky comb frame is this one. For everyone that gets triggered by bad burr comb, be aware, it's coming up. Wouldn't it be something if I found both queens in here? Now this queen is marked. Okay, they're drawing this out. Wow, beautiful. Big clump of bees there. Make sure the queen's not on here. Yeah, they're just drawing this out quite nicely. So if you recall, in this hive, I had one frame coming out wonky. I went to squish it, squish the wonky wax, and smear it all along the frame, and I found eggs. Wow, look at how they're drawn out this frame. Beautiful. Let's see, it's already got pollen in it. Already got nectar in it. Yeah, and they're closing off the honey already. They're capping the honey at the top. This could very well be a frame where the queen is laying. So let's just have a look for her. See the other side, oh, they're just starting to draw out the other side. Very nice. Look at the number of bees in this hive. That's a really good sign. So now the question is, are they going to start showing swarming tendencies? We're going to move them over, and if they keep up this pace, I mean, generally you add a second box when the bees have, okay, so this is the wonky frame. You can see it's a little better. We've drawn it out a little better. They're capping brood in the middle, which is where we saw the eggs before, right there. You see them? Created a little queen cup. There's a couple of them, so I'm going to keep an eye on those. You see that one? See 2 of them right there? One bee has its face in it. Those are queen cups. Maybe. Hard to tell. Hard to tell in this wonky comb, but there's one for sure down there. See that one? So we just need to make sure that they're not preparing to swarm. Now you see some of this brood is drone brood, drone comb. You see the big fat ones there? And some of them are regular, so. Yeah, and there's larvae and eggs and nectar right on out to the side, so they are filling that out nicely. Let's check out this side. Wow. Anybody says that bees don't like plastic foundation, that's plastic foundation. It's just being drawn out perfectly. And where's the queen? Where are you, queenie? Okay, don't see her. Let's get this frame back in. I definitely think that this box is going to warrant some expansion very soon. I mean, we've basically combined 2 4-frame nukes into one hive. And the hive itself, this hive, was doing really well. It had 3 full frames of brood that were just ready to explode, and they are exploding now, as you can see. Look at that brood. Beautiful. Where's the queen? Where are you, queenie? There she is, right there. There she is. There's our beautiful marked queen. That is our Derek Bowden 86 off-road queen right there. She's a beauty. Right on the frame that you'd expect her to be on. Okay, let's get her up against the next frame so we know we won't hurt her. And I am going to continue on the inspection, have a good look at these frames just to see if there's any signs that they are wanting to swarm. And just to make sure the other queen isn't in here. I know it's not likely. Usually queens don't allow other queens to come in, but it does happen. I have had a hive. Now that hive had a queen excluder, so there ended up being queens at the bottom and queens at the top. But they both worked in harmony quite nicely. Wow, look at that. Look at that frame of brood. Beautiful. So looking at the bottom, looking for any supersedure cells or queen cells. Don't see any. Wow, just wall to wall brood. This queen's a good layer. Love how she's putting her brood, her drone comb at the bottom and on the sides. Then you got the honey on the sides, a little bit on the top. And then just wall to wall brood. Let's get them back in here. I have not even puffed any smoke at these bees. Look at how calm they are. Wall to wall brood, baby. Nice. Let's look at the bottom, make sure. Oh, there's a couple of cups down there that I'm gonna get rid of. See that cup right there? That could be a queen cup, and so could that right beside it. So let's have a look. Again, I'm just not ready to take a queen cell and split it right now. Although I could. No, there's nothing in there. Nothing in either of those two suspicious cells. Okay, let's get this back in. Wow. Some emerging brood here coming out from the middle. See that little bee there just poking her head out? So again, seeing that there's still a bunch of brood that's emerging here and ready to get in to help this hive. This hive needs some space. So when I move the hive over, because that's going to be about as disruptive as you're going to get, I will probably end up adding a second box to it and sort of preparing them for splits. Once a couple more of those brood frames hatch out, then we're going to start splitting this hive. Could probably do it already. Is honey. Look at how nicely that's drawn out, eh? Just perfect. Oh no, it's honey and larva. Look at that, it's capped honey on the inside, but then out here, I'm gonna try and move you in close without getting into the shadow. Can you see the larva right in there? So there's larva. And eggs. Beautiful. Let's see this side. Oh my goodness, beautiful, freshly capped brood. Honey all around. This hive is doing well. Look at the pollen. Look at orange pollen on that little girl there. Awesome. It's funny, they haven't even finished drawing the frames out and they're already filling them up. I've seen that before. I've seen a queen lay in foundation that just had the slightest bit of wax on it. Like, I'm talking like a 1/16 of an inch. And she already was dropping eggs in there, kind of dropping them and then telling her girls to build it out, get going already. Again, just building out wax here. Really good, really nice. So every bee looks like a queen bee to me. Well, not everyone, but you know what I mean. Mostly nectar on this one, but they're building it out really nicely. Look at this. Okay, very quick look at the last frame. Then I'm gonna move these over, close this up, and then try to make sure I get that new yard ready for these guys. Beautiful. Wow, they're even heavily on the last frame. See lots of pollen. I'm just drawing that baby out. Okay, so that's it for this inspection. Actually, I'm gonna smoke these guys down a bit and just clean up the burr comb on there. If my smoker's still working. You working? Nope. So there you have it. One hive is dead. Second hive is going really strong. I think it's very obvious that the bees did migrate, at least a good number of them did, from the bear attack hive to the off-road hive. I'm leaving the queen excluder on for now just because there's still another couple of days. You see my new bee yard over there, right? See the yellow, or sorry, the orange stakes? There's still a couple of days before I can get that electrified fence happening. And if the bear comes back, a small opening is better for them to be able to defend themselves. So join me for the next video. The next video will probably be me building that fence, and then the next morning picking these bees up while they're sleeping and taking them to their new home. So thanks for joining me. It's unfortunate that I lost a hive, but I think I really just merged them into one hive from 2 to 1. And I think I now have the ability to probably split that hive or add to it right away. So one hive now is ahead of schedule. Instead of having 2 medium weak hives, which was my concern, I now have one hive that's very strong and on schedule to be split or expanded. So thanks for joining me. Learn every day at 4D Honeybee.